Everyone, this is Mr. Salmingo. This lesson is on social science, section 1, and this is about an introduction to India and also the beginnings pre-British rule or British colonialism. So the very first part of the section you should have read is about the geography and basic concepts about India. First of all, just so that you're aware of these terms that you will hear many times regarding history and social science are these three. One is colonialism. You should know that colonialism is the exploitative economic or political control of one people by another. So when we talk about colonies, the United States was a colony at one point. We're being exploited economically by another nation. Nationalism is this imagined ties or pride or loyalty to any nation state. And modernity is the societal features like rationalist thought, industrialism, capitalism that emerged starting in the 16th century. So we're talking about being more modern. That's what we're talking about. Okay, and we're talking about Eurocentric notions of modernity. Okay, so let's start briefly with geography. Okay, it starts off. Your reading starts off with 4 different. Just to be clear about what these things mean, and reading it is very confusing. So maybe seeing on a map will make it very clear to you. When we talk about undivided India, and we're talking about pre-1947, when they talk about quote-unquote India, okay, they're talking about Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. These 3 present-day countries are what constituted India pre-1947. Pakistan was actually Pakistan and Bangladesh. So these 2 countries, Pakistan and Bangladesh, were modern-day Pakistan, they were what they call Pakistan in 1947 to 1971. So current-day Pakistan is just this right here, but back in the day, Pakistan was Pakistan and Bangladesh. South Asia, or what they call South Asia, is Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. So those are what they call South Asia, and that's the current, every time they use the term South Asia, they're referring to these countries right here. But when we talk about the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation Nations, post-2007, or like they call it the SAARC, that also includes Afghanistan. So just so that you know about the geography or what we're talking about, hopefully now you know. So as a geography, you should know, they'll ask you questions about India, topography, geographical features. So let's just go down the list. The Punjab, or quote-unquote the 5 rivers, is up here in northwest India. The Indus River is the one that splits it into the 5 rivers. And then on the middle, we have the Yamuna River. Okay. In the middle of India, we have what they call the Deccan Plateau. On the west, we have the Western Ghats. And then we have what they call, this side right here, the Malabar Coast. India is bordered on the west and east by 2 bodies of water. On the left, we have the Arabian Sea. And on the east, we have the Bay of Bengal. Going across the east coast, instead of calling the Malabar, is called the Coromandel Coast. Okay, Malabar, Coromandel. Here we have the Western Ghats. Here we have the Eastern Ghats. One of the more famous Indian rivers that you'll hear is the Ganges River, which is here. Okay, this one right here, the Ganges River. The Brahmaputra River, which is here on the very, very, very east side of India. The Indo-Gangetic Plain, which is on the north side of India. And then on the top, or the northeast, we have a very famous mountain range, the Himalayas. Then they talk about the major religions of India, just so that you know you can be tested on. It is possible that you'll have a question on the exact percentages of the religions in India. You can memorize it, or you could try to guess. You should know that the religion that is most common in India is Hinduism, and that's 80.5%, followed by Islam, which we'll talk about very briefly, Christianity, 2.3%, Sikhism, which is 1.9%, Buddhism, which is 0.8%, Jainism, 0.4%, and Zoroastrianism, which is 0.006%. Okay, these are followed by what they call Parsis, P-A-R-S-I-S. The Parsis, they follow Zoroastrianism, and they migrated to India from Iran in the pre-colonial era. Okay. So let's talk about Islam real quick. And I'm talking about Islam, and I'll talk about Sikhism. Islam first arrived here. We'll start at this box right here, the Sindh. Okay, the Sindh region, which is basically modern day Pakistan, Islam came under the rule of a leader called Umayyad Caliphate. So if you want to say, where did Islam come from? It came from what they call modern day Pakistan, from a ruler, Umayyad Caliphate, who started spreading Islam. Okay, in coastal South India, and you can see very faintly in the background these red regions, we have on the west side a small community called the Mapalas. Near Cochin, Kerala, Arab traders, when they traded, they intermarried with this fishing community up in the Mapalas, and then some of them became the first Indian Muslims because this community, this fishing community, interacted with Arab traders. Okay, the Labais is a similar Tamil-speaking community that wrote a story about Muhammad's life, and they also got into the Islam stuff. On the north side, both the Muslim rulers of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire and the holy men of the mystic Sufi faith helped spread Islam across North India. So you could see in the western side we have Pakistan, we have it come from a different ruler. We have in South India different coastal communities that were involved in the Arab traders, and then we also have North India, which is from these Muslim rulers and people from the Mughal Empire. Okay. Now, Islam, continuing about Islam, today we're talking about 13.4% of the population. Did you know that the countries with the largest Muslim populations are actually not in the Middle East, but actually in South and Southeast Asia? So Indonesia is number 1, India number 2, and Pakistan number 3 are actually the ones with the largest Muslim populations, and actually not in the Middle East. Okay, the majority are in India. The majority of them are the Sunni Muslims of the Hanafi legal school. That's where the majority of Islamic Indians are here. And then other big places are this place called Lucknow and Hyderabad. Both of them were under control. Both of these cities used to be under control over an empire or a nation state called Shia. So because they were under control of them, the Islam kind of still stayed in these two cities. Now, Sikhism, okay, just to be clear, it's some fast facts, just to be really quick. The founder is called Guru Nanak, and that was in 1469 and 1539. Their holy text, what we have is the Bible. Theirs is called the Guru Granth Sahib, or Adi Granth. Okay, the last living guru is Guru Gobind Singh, and their main pilgrimage site is Amritsar, which is up here, kind of close to the Punjab. Okay, present day, we're talking about 20 million Indians are still of this faith, Sikhism. There was a conflict between the Sikh gurus and the Mughal emperors, and that started the formation of a militant Khalsa wing by Guru Gobind Singh in 1699. Okay. Now, because it was kind of more military, they had what they call the 5 Ks of Khalsa. Khalsa was their Khalsa in terms of like this initiation to become a military person for the Sikhs or the Sikhism. They had the 5 Ks. Hard to remember, hard to understand, but hopefully these pictures will help you. So try to remember 5 Ks. There is, and these are distinctive features of all, but not all, the majority, a lot of Sikhs have these 5 Ks. They have Kesh, which is uncut hair. They have Kara, which is a steel bracelet. They have Kanga, which is a comb. Kacha, which is cotton, basically underwear. And Kirpan, which is a sword or a dagger. Okay, so these are the 5 Ks that all Sikhs had to have in this initiation. They also have, or also you should have read about this term called a caste or a caste system. It comes from the Portuguese word casta or lineage. So caste, coming from the word casta, means kind of like this lineage or the separation of groupings based on occupation or based on families. There's 2 different kinds that you read about. One was called Varna and one was called Jati. Varna is 5 broad pan-Indian groupings, and these all mean I think this means, I don't remember which one means which, but there's priests, warriors, traders, farmers, laborers, and then there's these casteless groups, formerly known as the Untouchables, are mostly of religious significance. Just know, here's a little box that says caste is not related to or not restricted to Hinduism. The Jati caste, we're talking about numerous, diverse, specific, occupation-based Jati groupings that have more local, regional, and everyday significance. For example, one of them could be potters, or cobblers, or herders, or carpenters that have their own Jati. So just know there's two different castes, and just know that one is basically 5 main ones: priests, warriors, traders, laborers, and the casteless group. And then Jati is more broad, more diverse. There's more different occupations, things like that. So that's the first 10-minute video I have for you about section 1 on social science. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all later.